Namaskaram, Madhyoli Charanam. Yesterday's talks on Sri Amma's divine beauty were invigorating. Today, we continue listening to her greatness. These talks convey how Sri Amma has brought transformation in her devotees. We will first hear from Sri Ganesh Srinivasan, whose presentation is titled, It's All Her Blessings. With the blessings of Puja Sri Akka, Siva Ganesha's parents got to know her when he was 2 months old. Siva Ganesh grew up under the divine blessings of Sri Akka, and Sri Akka has guided him and continued to guide him throughout his journey of life. In short, she has taught him how to live. Siva Ganesh is a board member of Nandalala Mission and is one of the organizers of Nandalala Mission events in the New Jersey area. From a professional perspective, Siva Ganesh works as a director of finance at Verizon.
Sarvavignaharam Devam, Sarvavigna Vivarjitam, Sarvasiddhi Pradadaram, Vandeham Garanayagam. Madhyoli Charanam, Jai Nandalala. Thank you to Dr. Padmaraja and Hindu Temple of Antelope Valley for giving me the opportunity to give a small speech on some divine experiences and what we have learned from Amma. When Dr. Padmaraja asked me to give a small talk, I was wondering, immediately it struck to me that I should talk about Ganesha because we've been doing Shankatahara Chaturthi Puja initiated by Sri Akka or Sri Amma in 2013. It's been going on for 6.5 years now. So that the Ganesha was the one that immediately came to me and to share a couple of experiences towards the same when Sri Akka started it, and a couple of things that we have all experienced and learned over a period of time. So so this whole thing started, if you go back in 2010, Sri Amma had Sri Akka had told us that we should do a small Ganesha Puja for kids. So we all wanted to do something to bring the whole community together, and she said the best thing to do is to start with a Ganesha Puja. So she arranged it. She got small Ganeshas for all the kids from different parts of India, very, very, very nice looking Ganeshas. And there were so many kids that came here and they all learned to do the puja in front of Sri Akka. So this is what happened way back in 2010. Since then, I'm not going into the details. Since then, she had told us to continue this puja every year, which we did for a couple of years. And then in 2013, when it was during my elder son's Upanayanam, after the Upanayanam functions were done, Sri Akka had indicated that we can do a Ganesha Puja during the Chaturthi day on an ongoing basis. So we all met. The priest also had come along. So we met with Akka and then what was proposed was a full-fledged Abhishekam and Alankaram and Archana to be done with to the Lord, and the new Vigraham, Ganesha Vigraham, would be given by Sri Akka herself, and for that all these pujas were to be done. So first because of the scale and the size of the puja, we wanted to have a priest to come and do a puja. And one more thing that the plan was for the Ganesha to go to each devotee's house and bless them. So not only have there the individual devotees like us, who would host the puja, we'd also have to encourage others to host it. So the priest had recommended about $300 to start, and $300 is not a small amount, given that we have to ask somebody else to host it at every period of time, because if they're hosting, they have other expenses as well. So this all happened. Then after the Upanayanam, Sri Akka went back to India, and we had our trip planned after a couple of months. When I went there, um, Shri Akka gave me the Ganesha and told her that Pullaya Badrama Kutindu Pova, meaning it's a play on a word that's so beautifully said in Tamil that the sun will take you along. It's not that I'm taking the Ganesha along, the Ganesha is taking me along. It's like it's a play of words, so beautifully said. And she also told me that he will visit everybody's house and they will all experience his presence. That was the message given. Yes, the Ganesha came over, came as planned, and it was in November 2013 that we had the first Shankarahara Chaturthi Puja at our house. So the puja was done so beautifully by the priest and the entire Nandalala devotees in New Jersey. Her presence was felt everywhere. The vibrations were all over. The chanting of the Vedams and the Rudrams were so synchronized, and the vibrations made everybody feel so engrossed and attached to the Pullayar right away. So in our mind, we were still thinking, okay, we have to do this every month, and people have to sign up for every month. So here's where the beauty comes, right? As soon as the puja is over, I did announce the plan that this Pullayar will visit everybody's house, and if you have to host the puja, these are the things. The priest will come and do it. It will cost about $300. Most of it is going to the priest and a little bit to Nandalala mission. That day, the same evening, the Ganesha got booked for the next 9 months for the puja. It was November and it was booked until next year, August or September. And people were just putting their names in wait list. And that goes on even today. Even right now, it's May in 2020. It's booked through May next year. So 2021, sometime, May, June timeframe, it's already booked. It is all her blessings, meaning it is her that is speaking, who decided to speak through Ganesha in New Jersey. If she wanted the people to experience her will in whichever form she chooses to be. So the key lessons that we all learned, right, when doing a good thing, just follow what you learn. We just followed what her thing was and the rest fell in place. That is the lesson that I wanted to share, that we all learned. Like, take a step and the rest of the steps she took us along. So that is a key lesson that we all learned. Many things happened. I'm not going into the details in the interest of time. So let me say another incident towards the same regard. It was in 2017 when she last visited New Jersey in her physical form. She's everywhere. She's even now here. But I'm just saying, in her physical form, she last visited New Jersey was in October 2017. When she came that year, this was very startling. The day she was supposed to leave, that day in the morning, she told me that she's going to get a new Ganapati for us. And we'll adorn him with a silver kavacham. As usual, we said this was fantastic news for us. The puja was going on for 4 years by then, and it was fantastic news that we are going to get a new Ganapati. So this was again coincided with my second son's Upanayanam, because she had advised to do my second son's Upanayanam in December on 2017. So we went again towards my second child's Upanayanam. After the Upanayanam function was done, or around that time, when we visited her, Madhuri and I visited her one of those days for a completely different discussion. She said, "Have you come by car? Let's go right now to look for the Pullayar." So it was such a thing. We never had planned to do that. Rather, we went to discuss something else, and she said, "Let's go right now." And many of us know her health condition was not not great at that point of time, but she personally wanted to come. So she came to the store, picked the Ganesha, gave exact instructions on how the kavacham has to be done. And then she came home. She went back. Now, when the Ganesha was done and the kavacham was given to us, she touched it, she played with him, she made sure the kavacham was all fitting fine for him, and she blessed the kavacham as well. So at that point, I did ask her that you should come when the kavacham is adorned for him in New Jersey. We want to do a special function and you should come. She kept quiet that day. She was absorbing it and she kept quiet. The next time I went to see her on a completely different topic, she said Hardi Masam. She didn't say anything else given her health, but she told me Hardi Masam. So now that suddenly sometimes for me, right, like when she says something, the dots are connected after a while. And this happens to many of us, I'm sure. It's like, so I go home, I said, oh my God, I asked the question last time and she's answering this question to me, and what is going on in my mind that I have to connect it after the fact and not in front of her. So I go home and I connect the dots, and she has told me very clearly that the kavacham has to be adorned during Adi Masa. And she has told us that she'll be there. She told me, yes, she'll come, and this has to be done during Adi Masa. So two things, she will come and it had to be done during Adi Masa. So we all know in May 2018, she chose to leave her physical form. Her path of walking this earth in her physical form had to come to an end. But still in her mind, the instruction was she will be there for the Pralayar function and she'll be there, and it had to be done during Adi Masam. So what we did it in 2019. Adi Masam, we had a major function last year to adorn the Ganesha with the silver kavacham. So here's the thing. The decorations were done the previous day. There was a huge pillar, huge decorative piece that was hung on the wall right by the Ganesha. Then she had told me and she had told Madhuri as well that she'd be there for the function. So Madhuri announces that Shri Akka will come, and now we have to invite her. So every time in a function in New Jersey, we'll have a grand welcome for her. That is inviting the Devi to the function is a regular process for us. So the same day we went out, we with all splendor, we bought her picture, decorated picture, and we were walking into the after the Ganesha was there, we were inviting Shri Akka with all the Veda mantrams, with her picture being carried. We were walking in. We went as a pradakshana round the premises where the function was being done, and as soon as we came next to the Pralayar with her picture in hand, a big decorative piece that was hanging from yesterday fell down on the floor. The entire place was mesmerized with that. She had said she would come. We were carrying her picture and walking around the premise. And the moment we come next to the Pralayar with her photo in hand, the decorative piece had to fall. Everybody felt her presence. The function went well. Everybody felt the vibration and felt blessed that day. The reason I wanted to share this was many times Akka has said, "Na ungaloda dhaan irukken. I'm always with you." She's always there. She's always there. She's always with us. If we take to even experience that, you need her blessing. She is with us. For us to experience that she's there, we need her blessings. Avanarulale avanthal vanangi. With his blessings only, or with her blessings only, we can even pray to her. She has created a temple for us, like the temple that in Lancaster, such a beautiful temple. it is her blessings is everywhere. She's here, she's there. Once in her discussions, he said, Kadavul ella edathiliyum, she can take avatarams. Wherever the God wants, he can take avatarams. She has taken avatarams in every place and she has established her presence everywhere. And I just wanted to share that her blessings are always there with everyone at all point of time. Let us pray as a group, and let us be elevated by her presence and blessings. Jai Nandalala Madhuri Charanam.
Thank you, Siva Ganesh. It's indeed a convincing incident that shows how Sri Amma makes her presence felt amongst us in subtle ways. We will now hear from Bhargav Srikantan, yet another devotee of Sri Akka who had the good fortune of knowing her for over 25 years. He is blessed to have witnessed the construction and the evolution of the Nandalala Cultural Center in Chennai, and Sri Akka has been so kind to shower her grace on him and his entire family to be a part of Nandalala. He currently resides in New Jersey with his family.
Hello, everybody. Namaste. My name is Bhargav, and I've had the blessing of knowing Sri Akka for over 25 years. She has been the true north and guiding force for our entire family. I wanted to start today with a quick prayer that all of us chanted together during the consecration of Sri Akhilandeswari at this temple 4 years ago. As I started thinking about what to talk, I was flooded by memories from that week-long event, the Kumbhabhishekam and the Tatanka Pratishtha, and how fortunate and blessed we were all to be recipients of her grace. Sudhamapya swadhya pratibhaya jara mrityu harinim vipadhyante vishwe vidhishatamakhadya divishadaha Karalam yatshvelam kabalitavatah kalakalana na shambhostanmulam tava janani tatanka mahima. Who is Sri Akka and what does she mean to each of us? For me personally, that answer has varied very significantly through the passage of time. I first remember her on the day of my Upanayanam at age 7 when she came to bless us. Later, she was then a guru to me that would sign your palm before an important exam. And then she, along with Pati, was the loving mother that would feed us with wonderful food anytime you visited Annapu or Jayamala. A guide to help you make career choices, a friend in whom you could confide everything to, a guru who has truly molded my life and our lives as a family in a way I could never imagine. We often marvel about this in our family. We would have something happen one fine day, and suddenly you remember something that Sri Akka mentioned that would connect it all together and make sense. In some instances, the answer was sitting right in front of you. In others, it was a grand plan that came together in the most beautiful way. The words could have been seemingly a passing remark, but in hindsight, it would be loaded with meaning. It could be something she might have asked me to do that didn't have a great significance to me. In fact, I might have even questioned it on why Sri Akka was asking me to do something that particular day. But then it all comes together at some point in time. These everyday experiences, the loving words of consolation, and every single thing that you and me have all come in contact with Sri Akka happened for a certain purpose. And then it all comes back to us when we need it the most. In a way, each interaction with Sri Akka is like a dot and a line that we start with in a traditional South Indian kolam. They are mere dots and lines at that point in time, but then the true journey is to reflect and learn to connect and put it all together as we go through life, and that becomes her creation. It is her kolam. That is the title for me today, Connecting the Dots of Sri Akka's Kolam. And I personally have been astonished when I see it all coming together in my own life. I'm reminded of a day about 2.5 years ago when Sri Akka visited New Jersey. The Nandalala activities and functions all came to a conclusion over a weekend. And as I was sitting in my office that next week, I got a call from Vic Iyer telling me that Sri Akka's flight to India that was at that night, and if I could, I should consider coming to the airport. It was almost 4 p.m. that day. My wife and I were both tied up at work till late, and we had to get to JFK by 7:30 p.m. And in typical New York peak hour traffic, that was a very, very slim chance of happening and making it on time. But then something happened. I still don't know what got into us that day, but Deepika and I rushed to the airport each separately. We took every mode of transportation possible, whatever would get us there fastest. We took a bus, we took a ferry, we took a cab, we took a train, and then we finally ran. We somehow both reached the airport just on time. Miraculously, her flight was delayed by an hour, and we all got to spend about 20 minutes with her that evening in the airport. Those few minutes were such a sweet blessing. I still remember very clearly as she finished her check-in, this was JFK Terminal 8, and then she went through security. She just stopped, turned around, and stood there for about 30 seconds, looked at each one of us present there. We were about 8 to 10 of us there. She looked at each one of us and then blessed us with her Abhaya Hastam in the middle of the airport. Little did I know that this darshan that I just had was the last one that I would have of her. Coming back to the analogy of the kolam, all these columns start with the same first principle, right? A bunch of dots and lines. In a way, all our lives are just like that. The starting point is exactly the same. Yet we all come into this world with different needs, different talents, different karma, and different priorities. The blessing of Sri Akka was to tap into each one's innate ability, bringing out the best in each of us and giving us what we needed at that precise moment in time. Never earlier, never later. Always at that time when we need it and how we needed it. In fact, the entire Nandalala Children's Organization is filled with stories of people who have found their true calling, both professionally and personally, with Sri Akka's blessings. She might suggest to someone to take up a musical instrument. She might have suggested a career choice that would have been so out of consensus and so unbelievable to that own person at that point in time. It could be a foreign language. It could be a new city that you had to move to. It could be something you actually had to give up. The list is never ending, but then the outcomes are always awe-inspiring. Sri Akka's role was not just limited to that initial spark, right? If you happen to catch on to what she had guided to, then she would take care of every single thing that came along and help you figure out a way. I'd like to share an example. The year was 2007, and I had first come to the US that year for work. And as I was going through the job allocation process at my firm, we all had a few options that we had to prioritize and we had to give them and I wanted to get Sri Akka's input. So I wrote a huge letter. That was a habit. I used to like writing letters to her. And I went through all the different options. I said, here's what I thought, here are the pros and cons. But then I left it to her to decide. I then sent the letter over to my mother with the options, and I listed the options in the order that I thought was most attractive. So I put in what I wanted to get and what I thought was most attractive right at the top, and then the least attractive at the bottom. Imagine my shock when my mother called me that next day to tell me that Sri Akka picked what I had as the very last option. But then she had decided, so I went ahead. As fate would have it, the company that I worked for went bankrupt within a year and got bought out by a competitor. And of course, given the duplication between the two firms, there were massive layoffs at that point in time. That was a very, very rough and stressful time for all of us. But then, just thinking back, right? When I look back, every single one of what I thought were the top job choices for me were gone. She picked the one that was right for me, even as I thought it was the least ideal option. And to add to that, 2 years before that, when I had gotten the job offer initially and I went excitedly to show it to Sri Akka, she just smiled and asked me one question. Idu nalla company-ya? Is it a good company? That one line had the answers to my future if I had paid close attention. But then I was too excited and self-absorbed that day, and I gave her some answer about how great this company was or whatnot, and I couldn't take it in. If any of you have had the chance to read the book series Pranamamyaham, it has an amazing collection of various experiences of devotees that all reiterate the same point. What is seemingly a dot or a line will eventually blossom into a beautiful column. And all we have to do is just trust. One such experience of a devotee comes to mind. One fine day, Sri Akka suddenly asked the devotee to go buy a car and hire a driver. It was a time in Chennai where having a car with a driver was a luxury that few could afford. Although he asked Akka if it was right to make such a big investment, he eventually went along with it. Within 6 months, the car had a massive accident to the point where it had to be completely totaled. Miraculously, everyone in the car, including the driver, were completely safe from the accident. When the devotee narrated the incident to Sri Akka, she mentioned if he had not bought the car, he would have then had to spend that money for a surgery or for a hospital expenses, and she had just diverted it in a positive way. Such is the power of Sri Akka's kolam. On a completely unrelated note, something else comes to mind. Sri Akka started the Nandalala Seva Samiti in the 80s. Women's empowerment was not a topic that was front and center in India or in Chennai or in Mylapore for that matter. It was not fashionable. Yet, when I think back to my earliest recollections of Nandalala, a lot of the positions of responsibility and the organizers were women. If I think of the Nandalala Matru Seva today, Kalpagam Mami comes to mind. If I think of the Nandalala Sirvar Sangam back then, Vijayam Mami and Pichma Mami come to mind. If you look at any of the beautifully designed invitations that come to us through these WhatsApp groups, along with every single Nandalala event, there is a team of women designers that Sri Akka trained herself. Go through the list of volunteers. There are as many women at the forefront as there are men, if not more. Also, take every aspect of this Nandalala temple, right from the construction of the temple that was crowdsourced, not sponsored. Every brick was sold for $2. It would have been so much easier to just get one sponsor. And she could have done it very easily, yet it was crowdsourced. The architecture was a mix of North India and South India. That was very unique at that point in time. A vigraham that was made of touchstone was virtually unheard of, and so many more secrets that are unknown to us today. So many revolutionary, unique, and original concepts that were well ahead of its time, but implemented so organically and seamlessly within Nandalala as is right and just. That is her design, and that is her kolam. I want to end this speech by sharing something that captivated me recently. I'm no math major, nor do I have any knowledge of physics, but then I've recently been reading a lot about fractals and how they occur everywhere in nature. In simple words, fractals are basically infinitely complex patterns that are basically created by repeating a simple process over and over again. Take a look at this picture here. You can see fractals everywhere in life, be it a leaf, in trees, in rivers, a lotus, clouds, hurricanes, you name it. Fractals are everywhere in our life. As I was trying to understand this complex concept and learning more about it, I was fascinated to see the cover of Sri Akka's book, Nindra Nilai Paruga, where a concept of a fractal was so beautifully and simplistically conveyed in a simple picture. Somehow, this title and then today's speech brought me back to fractals. Just as a fractal starts with a simple pattern, Sri Akka's processes and words might be simple, but then they are infinitely complex to fathom. Her columns are everlasting, forever a part of nature. Every fractal and column has so much meaning as a big picture, yet has plenty of anecdotes and characters and stories behind every single cell. In a way, this is how we're all connected to each other. This is how we're all connected to Nandalala, and this is how we're all connected to Sri Akka. Every single life that has been touched, every single column that has been created and connected has brought about immense change, and for that, we are all truly blessed and forever grateful. Om Shri Matiyoli Saraswatyai Namaha. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhargav. Your story is a testimony to Sri Amma's clairvoyance. I now have the pleasure of introducing Madhuri, Amma's completely surrendered devotee. She is married to Sivaganesh Srinivasan, who spoke earlier, and is the mother of 2 boys, Shyam and Dev. Madhuri graduated with a business administration degree in India, followed by a fashion design degree with Sri Amma's blessings at the Fashion Institute of Technology, New York. In Madhuri's own words, my ambition was to become a successful fashion designer, and Sri Amma made me achieve everything needed for it. She even set up a business for me, which I believe she takes care of. I achieved everything because Amma handed it to me. When it was time for me to receive the fruit of all my efforts, I didn't want it and wanted to be with her and nothing else. I could only see her, the absolute, and everything else became an illusion. Now I am nothing but her surrendered devotee, talking about her and spreading her message to everyone through Nandalala mission. That's my only identity given by Amma, and in that I experience complete bliss. Madhyoli Charanam.
Jai Nandalala, Madhyoli Sharanam, Akhilandeswari Charanam. I'm so honored to be a part of this event, and so honored to be speaking about our beloved goddess Akhilandeswari, the ruler of the world. I get this opportunity to do this again thanks to Dr. Padmaraj uncle, who asked me, and I'm so humbled. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I have no words. Since I believe that I am born in this world only to be speaking about her. And so there is nothing else I would rather do but to do this. Ever in her presence. Isn't that true though? Always she's present. Forever. Everywhere around us. every time. But we always forget that, isn't it? Especially when we're going through tough times, some tragedy, some hard faces, we forget that she's there. We're always looking for physical physical support, especially with our near and dear ones, parents or husband or wife or children, friend. Well, having all of them with us, still we're not able to be at peace, harmony. We don't seem to be stress-free. We're always stressed out. Though we have so many people to support us, we're always stressed out. And these so-called people around us, they don't have the capacity to take up all that stress and give us that peace and harmony that we need. Do they? I don't think so. Their capacity is only what a human being can do. They'll come and help you out. They'll say, don't worry, I'm here. I can help you with this. You want this, you want that. But nothing more. They do not have the capacity to take away the stress that is in your mind here. They cannot go in and make you stress-free. But we have the Ambal, the goddess Akhilandeswari, who's there, sitting there and telling us every time, I'm here. Don't be stressed. I'm here. Give it all to me. Give your stress to me. I'll take it. Now, which human being can say that? Which human being can do that, is capable of doing that? Nobody can handle another person's stress. Nobody. Even our own mothers cannot. They are mothers. They're after all a human being. That's all their capacity. Mothers are great. But the fact that she's different from the universal mother, divine mother, is that this is all her capacity is. To help us with whatever she can. She can see. When she's with you, she helps you. But this divine mother, she does not need to be with you physically. She can help you 24/7. She knows what you're doing. She knows what you're thinking. She knows what you're thinking. She gets into your thoughts. And she fulfills it. If you are surrendered, she fulfills everything. Once you're surrendered, you feel her presence in everything. Ultimately, then you do not need anybody's support, isn't it? You will not look for support in a human being because you know, okay, this is all that they can do. They can only do this much. You will never get stressed because you've already given away your own self to the goddess, Akhilandeswari, who has of course asked you, give it to me, give yourself to me, I'll take care of you. Give your stress to me, I will take care of it. You don't have to worry, you relax. This is what she keeps saying, isn't it? And when we do that, the kind of calm, the kind of happiness, the kind of contentment, the harmony is immeasurable. You have to experience it to understand it. But for that, the first step is to surrender. When you surrender, then everything is taken care of. Eventually, you see her in everything. When you go outside, you see her in the trees, as birds, as the beautiful flowers, the vast blue skies, the horizon, the rainbow, just goes on. Everything is her. Everyone is her. You meet a person, you see her in them. Everybody looks beautiful. So there is no boundaries when it comes to Ambal. She can take any form. She can come in any form. Ever in her presence, we will be. But we need to open our hearts for that. We need to open that door. We have closed it. For some reason, we are still not giving ourselves to her. That's stress-free. Give it away to her. And then we experience that harmony. In return, it's bliss. What we feel in return is bliss. Because she's the only person who can give it. No doctor can. No human being can. Excuse me. So one incident that happened to me 2 weeks ago was when a bird, she came in the form of a bird. A beautiful bird. Green color. And what it had was, it had this beautiful tilagam on it. A red tilagam on it. And that red tilagam was so attractive. I was just admiring it. And it allowed me to approach it. And I could touch it. Which is not quite normal. And that is not a common thing. That birds stay there for you to approach it and touch it. No, it's not. Because this was Amma. This was Ambal. So this bird was very, very unique. I've never seen this kind of bird with a tilagam on it. Beautiful tilagam. And it stayed with me for 40 seconds. And, it was such a honor for me. I came inside and I immediately, something told me, Google what kind of bird it is. So I Googled the bird's name and I said on the Google search engine, I said, a bird with a red mark on its head. And exactly that bird came up. And it's a species of a beautiful bird called the ruby-crowned kinglet. Ruby-crowned kinglet. And what I understood from the name is ruby is Ambal. Ruby is red, Ambal. Crowned is anything royal, right? If you put a crown on something, it's the royalty. Anything like, anybody like a king, queen, is who wears a crown. And our goddess is the ruler of the world. She wears the crown. She's Akhilandeswari, Ambal. So, crowned, kinglet, king. That's when it struck me. I always pray to Lord Shiva. Now, there is no Shakti without Shiva. So the kinglet, that is what it is. Ruby is the Shakti. Kinglet is the Shivan. So it's the Ardhanarishwarar. So the bird has come to see me in the form of both Shiva and Shakti. Ardhanarishwarar. That is the message I got from this beautiful encounter with the bird. It's beautiful. I have no words. Look at that. She came to see me as Ardhanarishwarar. If you want to have a look at that bird, you should Google and have a look at it. It's called the ruby-crowned kinglet. And with that, I will have to end this little talk. It was a honor again. It's a privilege any time to talk about the goddess. Forever in her presence, always, until the end of my life on this earth. Thank you to all of you for being a part of this. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. Madhyoli Charanam, Akhilandeswari Charanam, Jai Nandalala.
Thank you, Madhuri. Your total faith and firm devotion to Sri Amma is very evident in your story. We will now hear from Vic Iyer, our final speaker. Vic Iyer's association with Puja Sri Akka has been since birth. Puja Sri Akka is related to him, and she has known his parents for a very long time. Vic Iyer is an active member of Nandalala Mission, an IT professional with a finance background. He lives in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Om Madhyoliye Charanam. Thank you to the organizers of the 2020 Akhilandeswari Mahotsavam, virtually celebrated at the Hindu Temple of Antelope Valley in Southern California on May 23rd and 24th for giving me this opportunity. With Puja Sri Akka's blessings, I will narrate two personal experiences that I have had with the goddess incarnate. Since it is my personal experiences, you will hear the use of I during the narration. I urge you to not pay attention to that, but instead focus on the invisible hand of Puja Sri Akka in guiding me through these two experiences. Reason being, I am nothing but for the continued guidance and caretaking of the goddess Puja Sri Akka. The first experience is when Jack, my younger brother, and I wanted to go and meet Puja Sri Akka in Chennai. I had just entered second year of college and Jack was wrapping up high school in Hyderabad. Inspired by rags to riches and self-made stories of our childhood hero, Amitabh Bachchan, Jack and I used to teach neighborhood children and made money to spend on our indulgences. We saved up some money for the Chennai trip, had enough for an unreserved round-trip ticket from Hyderabad to Chennai, plus a bit of spare change for sundries. Needless to say, our parents objected to the trip and were not happy at all. So trip sponsorship by them was out of the question. We got into the unreserved compartment and traveled all night to get to Chennai, standing for more than 3/4 of the journey. Unreserved compartment means seating is based on first come first serve basis and massively oversold. We went to Puja Sri Akka's house only to find out that she is not in town. We were told that she has gone to Pondicherry and will not be back for at least a week. We asked for the Pondicherry address and were given a very vague address that she is visiting her children, a sister, staying in a street called Koil Street, close to the biggest temple in the town. We left Puja Sri Akka's house, contemplated our next move, and concluded that we should take a bus and go to Pondicherry. We took the first available bus that put us in Pondicherry at about 4:30 a.m. in the morning. We sat at the bus stop for daybreak, and in that extremely crowded, unclean bus stop, we felt Puja Sri Akka's presence. The fragrance of the flower engulfed us, even though there was absolutely no flowers anywhere close by. No flower vendors, no flower trees, nothing. At daybreak, we engaged a cycle rickshaw and gave him the same vague address that we had. He took us to the street and got impatient that we did not have the exact location. He asked us to pay and get off the rickshaw after circling around some time. We got down, walked a bit, and sat down on the patio of a house, contemplating our next move. The servant maid opened the door at about 7:30 a.m., saw us sitting outside, made initial inquiries of us, and the next thing that happened was absolutely mind-boggling given that we were, after all, ordinary humans. We were sitting in the patio of Pujashri Akka's sister's place. We stepped into the house and saw Pujashri Akka sitting in the hall. She had that usual impeccable smile on her face. We did our namaskarams to Pujashri Akka and her mother. We narrated to her our travel adventures, including sitting in the patio right in front of the house. She listened as if she had nothing to do with it. Instead, her concern was that we had traveled alone all night and that we were sitting outside in the patio for more than an hour until someone opened the door. Pujashri Akka asked us about our travel plans, and we told her that we'll be leaving right away, get back to Chennai and on to Hyderabad by the evening train. And the next thing Pujashri Akka did was so utterly surprising to us, given that we grew up in a very conservative family where we could not eat a morsel of food until the Naivedyam was done. Pujashri Akka went into the kitchen and brought a neatly packed food package for us to eat in our return journey. Pujashri Akka said, "Today is Ganesh Chaturthi and they're still cooking. I've given you some modakams and vadas. Amma, her mother, will complete the puja and the Naivedyam will be done around 11:30 a.m. So hold on to the food and eat it after 11:30 a.m. We were left speechless. The flexibility and the trust that Pujashri Akka exhibited by giving us the food before Naivedyam was done, and that the trust we will not eat them until it was done with the Naivedyam. After all, we were a couple of youngsters, and youngsters whose purpose of life at that age is to pull pranks, question authority, and disobey at the first available opportunity. My second experience, with Pujashri Akka's blessings, I visited India to attend one of Nandalala Seva Samiti's anniversary celebrations. Pujashri Akka asked me when I am returning back to the States. I told her I am returning back the day after the celebrations. Pujashri Akka asked me to stay with the host family till I leave for the US. As always, the anniversary celebrations were a great success, and soon after the conclusion, Pujashri Akka left the arena. After bidding our humble salutations to Pujashri Akka, I started walking with the host family, wondering when and how will I get to see her before leaving for the United States. It was about 5:30 in the evening when one of Pujashri Akka's ardent devotee called me to convey some instructions from Pujashri Akka with the caveat that no one should be told about the instructions. I was asked to join Pujashri Akka and other devotees to go to a holy shrine on a 2 to 3 day trip. I was elated and asked where should I be joining the group. The devotee told me that Pujashri Akka and the group are already on their way and that I have to find my way to meet them at a guest house that they were going to stay at overnight. I was also asked to get to that guest house by 5:30 a.m. the next day morning. Reason being, Pujashri Akka wanted to leave the guest house no later than 7 a.m. after breakfast. Detailed instructions included the fact that I have to get down at a wayside coffee shop about 25 miles before the final destination of the bus. It is not a scheduled stop, but the driver will stop based on request. After that, I have to get into an auto and go deep into the fields with no proper roads and street lighting to get to the guest house. After finishing the call, I quickly got ready to make my next moves. The host family was perplexed to see me getting ready to leave. It took quite a bit of convincing to let them know about the sudden change in plan and at the same time not disclose anything about where I was going. I picked my bags, caught an auto rickshaw and went to the main bus station, got a ticket for a 10 p.m. departure. After ticketing, I called my US travel agent and asked them to postpone my trip by a day. Told them they will not be able to talk to me after that call and therefore finished the ticketing without any further communications. I boarded the bus at 10 p.m. and got to the Wayside coffee shop at about 4:30 a.m. There was one auto at the coffee shop and I asked him to take me to the guest house. He knew of the guest house and was very circumspect about going in the dark to that area, given that it was pitch dark, no street lighting, and extremely poor access roads. He suggested that I wait till daybreak, but I insisted that I have to get there as soon as possible since someone was waiting for me. The auto driver was very skeptical and was very suspicious about my urgency. Nevertheless, we left the coffee shop and went through the dark woods or fields to get to the guest house. Needless to say, I was constantly praying to Pujashri Akka throughout the journey, prayers reaching feverish proportions during the last stretch. With Pujashri Akka's blessings, I got to the guest house at 5:15 a.m. Pujashri Akka's devotee received me and said, Pujashri Akka told me that you will be here in the morning by 5:30. I showered, got ready, and went to the breakfast area. Pujashri Akka asked me about my adventure and, like always, heard the whole story as if she had nothing to do with it. I did not think much about the whole episode until it dawned on me a few years later. It was a test of faith to see if I was able to make the effort to make it to the guest house, and then more importantly, once I took the first small step, she was there with me all the way. Jai Sri Nandalala, Om Madhivaliya Charanam. Om Madhivaliya Charanam, Jai Sri Nandalala. With its roots on a neighborhood children's organization, Nandalala Children's Club, the Nandalala family of organization has grown and continues to grow as a solid oak tree inspired by the love, compassion, boundless energy and enthusiasm of its founder, the goddess incarnate Pujyashri Madhuvali R. Saraswati. Today, Nandalala Seva Samiti, Nandalala Religious Trust, Nandalala Mission, Nandalala Medical Foundation, Suraksha Dialysis Center, Nandalala Cultural Center, Ear, Nose and Throat Center, Krishnan Kichidi, Madhivali Vidya Bhavan, along with various chapters in India, US and Canada, are serving the community at large in the areas of education, health and community service. Under the umbrella of education service, the Nandalala family has established a school, Madhivali Vidya Bhavan, in a village near Hyderabad, India. The trust has supplied notebooks and school supplies to a village school in India on an annual basis, has conducted summer camps and training for competitive exams for high school students in India, has provided interest-free loans repayable after graduation and employment in the United States, has distributed more than 1,500 backpacks stuffed with school supplies to disadvantaged children in California and New Jersey, has distributed supplies to the California School of Deaf and Blind in Northern California based on their wish list. Under health services, Suraksha Dialysis Center has provided low-cost dialysis for the underprivileged. Ear, Nose and Throat Center has provided services to the underprivileged. And the Nandalala Medical Foundation has been conducting quarterly medical camps for more than 15 years in a remote village in Tamil Nadu. Under community service, Youth Concert Series is organized on a periodic basis in Northern California, Florida, and New Jersey. Under Matra Seva program, brown bag lunches are prepared and delivered to homeless shelters in Northern California and New Jersey. On-site breakfast is prepared and served in Northern California and Southern California. Berkeley Food Pantry is funded on an annual basis, providing fresh vegetables to students at UC Berkeley who are financially challenged. Weekly lunch packages are prepared and served at the Nandalala Cultural Center in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Likitya Satyanarayana Puja and Group Satyanarayana Puja are conducted on a periodic basis in Northern California. Sankarahara Chaturthi Puja is conducted on a periodic basis in New Jersey. Tulasi in Northern California, an ashram that is conducting regular programs under the guidance provided by Pujyashri Akka. Teaching Rudram and other mantras at the Nandalala Cultural Center in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and conducting regular music programs at the Nandalala Music Center in Chennai or other activities under the community service. Krishnan Kichidi is a facility in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, which is used for putting together care packages for various relief efforts on a timely basis. COVID efforts. And when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, the Nandalala family has aggressively stepped in to provide relief efforts, both in US and India. We have distributed funds in the US to several organizations. Amount per organization is perhaps relatively small, but the reach is far and wide. As of today, we have made total donations of $6,000. We have donated to the CDC Foundation, Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, the Family Supportive Housing Center, Home First, a shelter in San Jose, California, various temples in California and New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund, Union Station, Pasadena, and McKinley Head Start School, a school for kids from low-income families in San Jose, California, the donation being 40 Safeway gift cards of $25 each. In India, the Nandalala family has donated wheelchairs, tricycles, and prosthetics to physically challenged, 36 bags of rice to Migrant Labor Community Kitchen, 300 cloth masks to Tainampet Police Station, sourced from a tailoring unit that used surplus materials, Matru Seva at Shirdi Sai Karunayalam, and donated 325 PPEs to Mylapore and Roypeta Police Range. On May 9th, donation of rice bags, groceries, vegetables, and money was made to the Chennai Corporation, Veda Adhyana Sabha, Sringeri Mutt, and Jan Kalyan. Donation of face shields to health departments, Stanley and Roypeta hospitals. Donation of 400 grocery kits to Sharana in Puducherry for distribution to families not receiving government support. Distribution of rice and dal to 350 families in a village in Tamil Nadu. And Matru Seva at Chaitanya Old Age Home and donation to Youth for Parivartan in Bengaluru, Karnataka. With Puja Shri Akka's guidance, we strive to do our best in all areas of service, education, health, and community services. Jai Shri Nandanala, Om Madhyuliye Charnam.
Thank you, Vic. It's unbelievable that you were able to arrive in time. It was all her will and your faith in her. On behalf of the Hindu Temple of Antelope Valley, I want to thank all of the participants for your insightful presentations. We are grateful for the lessons that you have shared with us. We will now conclude the event with an excerpt taken from Sri Amma's Christmas Day speech in 2017, which was her final public event. It is an eternal message for all of us to remember and follow. Thank you to Kalyani Venkatesh from Canada for providing the translation.
மதியொளி சரணம். அனைவருக்கும் இனிமையான வணக்கங்கள். ஹிந்து டெம்பிள் ஆஃப் ஆன்டிலோப் வேலியின் 5ஆம் ஆண்டு விழா சிறப்புற நடைபெற்று வருகிறது. பிரத்யக்ஷ அகிலாண்டேஸ்வரியாய் நம்மிடையே வாழ்ந்த பூஜ்ய ஸ்ரீ மதியொளி சரஸ்வதி அவர்களின் பரிபூர்ண ஆசிகளுடன் துவங்கப்பட்ட இந்த கோயிலில் இன்று அகிலாண்டேஸ்வரி உற்சவம் அருமையாக நடக்கிறது. இந்த நல்ல நேரத்தில் பூஜ்ய ஸ்ரீ மதியொளி அம்மா அவர்களின் ஆசிகளாக அருட்பிரசாதமாக அவர்களின் சில வார்த்தைகளை பணிவுடன் பகிர்கிறோம். இறைவனிடம், நம்மை படைத்து காத்து ரட்சித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கும் இறைவனிடம் நாம் என்ன கேட்பது, என்ன வேண்டுவது, எப்படி கேட்பது, எப்படி அவரை உணர்வது என்ற கேள்விகளுக்கு மாணிக்கவாசகப் பெருமான் அருளிய திருவாசகத்தில் குழைத்த 10 என்ற பகுதியில் வரும் ஒரு அருமையான பாடலை குறிப்பிடுகிறார் பூஜ்ய ஸ்ரீ அம்மா அவர்கள். அந்த பாடல், வேண்டத்தக்கது அறிவோய் நீ, வேண்ட முழுதும் தருவோய் நீ, வேண்டும் அயன் மார்க்கு அறியோய் நீ, வேண்டி என்னை பணிகொண்டாய், வேண்டி நீ யாது அருள் செய்தாய், யானும் அதுவே வேண்டினல்லால், வேண்டும் பரிசு ஒன்று உண்டெனினில் அதுவும் உந்தன் விருப்பன்றே. இந்த பாடலின் கருத்து, எங்களுக்கு வேண்டியது அனைத்தையும் அறிந்தவன் நீ, அதை தருபவனும் நீ. உன்னை காண விரும்பிய பிரம்மனுக்கும் திருமாலுக்கும் காட்சி தந்தாய் நீ. நீயே என்னை விரும்பி ஆட்கொண்டாய். நீ பார்த்து செய்யும் அருள் அல்லாது வேறு ஒன்றை நான் விரும்புவேனானால் அது உன்பால் நான் வைக்கும் அன்பு ஒன்று மட்டுமே. இந்த பாடலை கூறிய பூஜ்ய ஸ்ரீமதி ஒளி அம்மா அவர்கள் நாம் மனதில் பதித்து கொள்ள வேண்டியதாக ஒரு வரியை மட்டும் குறிப்பிடுகிறார். வேண்டத்தக்கது அறிவோய் நீ. எனக்கு என்ன வேண்டும் என்பதை அறிந்தவனாக நீயே இருக்கும்போது எனக்கு என்ன கவலை? இந்த கருத்தை ஆழமாக மனதில் பதித்து கொண்டு எந்த கடவுளை வணங்கினாலும் அந்த நம்பிக்கையே நமக்கு நல்லன எல்லாம் அருளும் என்பதே பூஜ்ய ஸ்ரீ அம்மாவின் ஆசிகளாய் இந்த நன்னாளில் அனைவரும் உணர்வோம். மதியொளி சரணம். Greetings to everyone. The 5th year anniversary celebrations at the Hindu temple of Antelope Valley is underway. This temple is graced with the blessings of Pujya Sri Amma Matiyuli Saraswati, the divine incarnation of goddess Akhilandeswari. On this occasion of Akhilandeswari Utsav at the temple, we would like to share Sri Amma's speech with the devotees on our interaction with God. What should we ask God and how do we ask to God? The Almighty, the Protector, is the one who has created us and is protecting us always. So, what should I ask to God? How should I ask? How should I feel His presence? Sri Amma references that answers to such questions are given by Manikavachaka Peruman in his treatise, the Thiruvasakam. Sri Amma quotes this particular verse, which we heard a while ago in Tamil, from the narration called Kuraitha Pattu from the Thiruvasakam, which is to be interpreted as follows. Dear God, you know what we need, what we want, and you are the one who grants them to us. When Brahma and Vishnu wanted to see you, you appeared and fulfilled their wishes. If there would be anything I wish for beyond what you bestow upon me, let that be my love and devotion alone towards you. Sri Amma lays emphasis on a specific line as a message. Vendattakkadu arivoi nee. Dear God, as you know what I need, why should I worry about anything? Your prayers to any deity with this belief and faith will ensure that your prayers are always answered. Matiyuli Charanam, thank you. Let's hear the verse in Sri Amma's voice.
வேண்டத்தக்கது அறிவோய் நீ. அர்த்தம் தெரியுமா? அது சொல்லுங்க. வேண்டத்தக்கது அறிவோய் நீ, வேண்ட முழுவதும் தருவோய் நீ. வேண்டத்தக்கது அறிவோய் நீ, வேண்ட முழுவதும் தருவோய் நீ. வேண்டும் அயட்மா கரியோய், வேண்டும் அயட்மா கரியோய் நீ வேண்டி என்னை பணிகொண்டாய். வேண்டி நீயாக அருள் செய்தாய். யாவும் அதுவே வேண்டின் அல்லால் வேண்டும் பரிசு ஒன்று உண்டெனில் அதுவும் உந்தன் விருப்பம் அன்றே. உன்னுடைய விருப்பம் இல்லாமல் எதுவுமே இல்லை.